Cerritos is a special place where careful planning and visionary leadership have resulted in one of the most appealing cities in Southern California. In fact, the Los Angeles Times dubbed the people of Cerritos suburban Medicis, as the city has made a great investment in art and culture. This investment is driven by the value Cerritos residents place upon education and culture, and is embodied by the Cerritos Library. The Cerritos Library is the world's first experience library, with themed spaces designed to stimulate patrons' imagination and intellectual curiosity. When planning this amazing facility, city officials gave special consideration to building a collection of artwork to enhance learning opportunities and complement the themed areas within the library. Library patrons first encounter artwork in the beautiful grounds which surround the facility. The city commissioned sculptor Mark Licklider to create this monumental sculpture called Tsunami. Mark Licklider, an up-and-coming sculptor, has been commissioned by cities and companies such as AutoNation. His sculpture Tsunami depicts a seismic sea wave and includes an 8-foot-tall disc of stainless steel and 2 cast bronze wave shapes.
Well, the initial concept that I had for the Tsunami piece, when I realized where it was going to be placed and the scale that it needed to be, was trying to give some sort of feel to the piece that spoke of Southern California and maybe Cerritos a little bit in particular. In dealing with some of the renderings that had been done of how the building was going to look, we realized that the natural color and surface of bronze is very similar to the titanium that the building is clad in. The emotions that I think my work is most about are sort of a calming influence. I want things to be a lot more. I don't want them to be so like discordant, because I think there's enough of that in the world, and I think that especially like with the Tsunami piece, I wanted it to be a contemplative, sort of meditative sort of piece where it was a very quiet and serene kind of piece that allowed people to calm down.
Another art piece located in the Civic Center is the colorful Amaryllis, composed of sculptures by Charles set in a lovely fountain. Charles has been a professional artist since 1967, and he has created dozens of public commissions for organizations such as the Loveland Museum and Gallery and the Omaha Botanical Gardens. Charles is the official sculptor of the American Endangered Species Foundation, and he was commissioned by the city to create this delightful piece.
The city of Cerritos contacted me in developing some very large, bright botanical sculptures for the entrance or area of their library. The first concept was some early rough drawings that I did and turned them into wax models, which caught the attention of the city of Cerritos. I originally developed these sculptures in miniature. The Amaryllis sculptures are really fantasy pieces and highly surrealistic. I developed a lot of water jets in these sculptures because it's really an important concept of feng shui to have running water in the entrance of a building. The images themselves are related to the 4 directions of feng shui and designed to bring wealth and prosperity to the city of Cerritos.
A nationally renowned feng shui expert, Angie Ma Wong, guided the placement of each sculpture according to the ancient Chinese system of aligning human energy with nature, earth, and the universe.
In creating these Amaryllis fountain sculptures, I'm hoping the public will be able to capture some of the sense and tranquility of water gardens in the sense of feng shui.
Cerritos Civic Center is also home to the piece Dolphins by sculptor George Lundeen. Lundeen's work has won top awards from the National Sculpture Society, the National Academy of Design, and Allied Artists of America. Lundeen also sculpted the popular Joy of Music sculpture that is located at the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts.
The artwork I create has a lot of different subject matter, but most of it is realism. I try to pick subjects that I enjoy doing, whether it's people, and of course individual people, or animals that I really enjoy, such as the dolphins we have here in Cerritos. The dolphin sculpture has much more of an abstract idea for me. It's more of the movement of the dolphins. What I really tried to get in these dolphins was the fact that these animals are constantly moving. And then I also wanted to get the idea that this is a family of dolphins moving. So I have the pod all jumping at the same time with the idea of this one other dolphin right in front, kind of leading the way, and then tried to get the movement of the water underneath, which in this particular setting, in this placement, I probably didn't need all that water other than to support it with the bronze abstract idea of the water, because they've thrown so much water at it that part of the fountain kind of disappears underneath the dolphins. I was really pleasantly surprised when we found the kids all playing in the water and the water shooting all over the dolphins, and it really worked well.
With its shimmering titanium skin and sinuous lines, the Cerritos Library is a stunning example of architecture as art. Cerritos Library's futuristic design was created by Jim Nardini of Charles Walton and Associates.
I would say that the architecture is most likely a form of, I don't want to call it modern architecture or postmodern, but I think it is more of a volumetric type of architecture, an architecture that reads as volumes and shapes rather than as buildings. If I had to put a name on it, I'd most likely call it a more of a collision architecture, an architecture of collision of shapes.
The Cerritos Library's interior space opens with an area called Main Street, which features a 15,000-gallon aquarium teeming with colorful fishes, and a video wall with a changing display of video art pieces. Main Street leads to a great room, and the intersection of these spaces is highlighted by a coruscating sculpture by internationally celebrated glass artist Dale Chihuly. Throughout his career, Chihuly has been at the forefront of new ideas in glassmaking and has single-handedly popularized the art glass movement in the United States and abroad. Pieces by Chihuly can be found in the permanent collections of more than 200 museums worldwide, including the Smithsonian American Art Museum. It took a team from Chihuly Studios 3 full days to assemble almost 400 individual pieces that form the 6 sconces in the Cerritos Library.
I don't know if I chose glass or whether glass chose me. I mean, I remember that as a little kid going down the beach and finding Japanese fishing floats. I was always fascinated with glass and churches, but I don't know the real reason why it happened. But I started seriously working with glass just about 40 years ago now. It's hard to explain all the techniques that I work with in glass. But the primary technique is glass blowing. I mean, there are a lot of ways to work with glass. Casting, slumping, engraving. But really, my forte is glass blowing. The best way I could describe the piece, really, is that it sort of looks like anemones on the wall. And there are big 5 or 6 big clumps of these of different scale. And the colors that I use, in this case, are, golds and silvers and some oxblood, some ambers, and little specks of other colors. It could have taken on a different color, but at the time, that's what felt right to me, and that's the way I like to work. Different projects, of course, go in different color ranges. This seemed appropriate for me. When you come into the library and you look up there and see the piece, for a second, it might appear that something from nature had gone up on the wall. And people also can respond to that because they like things from nature. And they can, even though it's abstract, they have a feeling. They can make a judgment about whether they like it or not, or whether they're interested in looking at it. In terms of, what type of emotion, am I trying to communicate with the Cerritos piece? I really can't answer that very well. I just hope that people can come in and enjoy it, get a certain amount of joy from the piece, and get not everybody will like it,